Let's get this over to Georgie. Should have been sent this shit to him. All right. Starting this new series called Building the Biggest Barbershop Brand in the World. I should put the United States because it's gonna be hard to beat the world. I think Top Gun has like 300 locations or something like that. It's gonna be hard to compete with them. What am I doing here?
Are on our way to channel side.
Now those work. Boom. Send this over to my computer. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We're working. We're working. Can you see? No, you can't see your brother, right? All right. All right. Let's see if these are here. Upload that. Why the hell is this waiting? There we go. I need to start this live stream on the IG. What am I doing? Alrighty. Morning, good morning, everybody. What's up, Randy? Joel, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, Jerry? Barbercoin. Heck no. Heck no. Guys, why not just invest in Bitcoin? Let me see what ChatGPT says. Why are these coins being created? Maybe I'm crazy here. Maybe or maybe I'm just ignorant. Um, why are so many coins necessary? Genuine question. Why is XRP necessary? Genuine question. Can somebody like explain this stuff to me? Because maybe I just don't know shit about this stuff. because I mean, I don't know. Do I drink energetics? Energy drinks? I don't know what. No, energetics. I don't. Nah, I don't know what that is. Money making and manipulating the people. Yeah, I don't understand it. Yeah, I drink. Yeah, I'm always drinking energy drinks. Today's leg day. Oh man. All right, so I'm starting a series. We're gonna build the biggest barbershop brand in America. And what does this say? It says being created to scam people. We all know how barbering shit has become attractive, and a lot of younger people want to benefit from it. I guess they go after. Yeah, I drink like two at least two energy drinks a day. XRP will be the tech that Amazon and similar companies are going to jump to. Why? But I understand that. I understand that, but why? Why would they jump to that instead of the U.S. dollar? U.S. dollar is already digital currency, right? Is it healthy? No. Yeah, it's crazy. Like people, why would that be something serious, guys? That people pour money into? I don't get it. I just buy Bitcoin. All I do is just buy Bitcoin. But I'm not pouring. Some of you guys are crazy. Haven't paid taxes, haven't done shit, and then you put $1,000 into Bitcoin. It's not gonna even if Bitcoin 100, even if Bitcoin 10x's goes from 100,000 to a million. That $1,000 you put in Bitcoin is that life changing? Really? Isn't it because the U.S. dollar is centralized and they can see all your transaction? And if you research central bank digital currency, it's going to be programmable by the government. So what? I mean, I don't know that they can see all your transactions. There's cash, right? You can just use cash. You don't want them to see your transactions. Um, oh, I see what you're saying. Like if you want to send money over and stuff. Maybe, but like, who cares? As long as the U.S. government is not accepting Bitcoin for tax to pay your taxes, the U.S. dollar is going to be valuable. It's the biggest economy in the world, and they're not accepting, as far as I know, Bitcoin to pay your taxes. So as long as that's the only reason why taxes exist these days. Not the only reason why, but a big reason why. No, I understand. I understand the purpose for Bitcoin, but why are there? How many coins are there? I understand why Bitcoin is a thing. Yeah, they ever since when we left the gold standard, that's always been a thing, but it works. So why would they move away from the US dollar and go to Bitcoin? I mean that I understand why Bitcoin matters, but how many coins are there? How many cryptocurrencies are there? There are there are there are over 20,000 different cryptocurrencies. Why? Why don't y'all just buy Bitcoin? I don't understand why There's over 20,000 cryptocurrencies. Control over what? Nobody controls me. Like, if I don't want to use the US dollar, I can always use something else, but aside from Bitcoin, why? Makes no sense. How many government currencies? There are 180 recognized government currencies. 180. And there are 20,000 cryptocurrencies. And I really see barbers who can't even buy a house putting money into these little coins. Like, for what? Why? Oh my goodness. Anyways, can we get to building a real business? How is this true, guys? Oh my God. Let me ask you guys a question. Why would you let's say cryptocurrency didn't exist and we just had government currencies and you use that same logic with government currencies. Are you going to put your money into the Venezuelan dollar because you want to just weigh your options? It makes no sense. Am I going to put my money into the Burundi dollar just to weigh my options? I'm in the wrong business. I'm in the wrong business. Maybe we should just be creating cryptocurrencies and just let barbers pour their money into it. Lord. Like, why does barber coin need, no offense to those guys, but why does barber coin need to exist? Why didn't just people put their money into a different coin that already exists? Did they do something that's innovative, that's different, that's not out there already? I doubt it. Gonna be a lot of people losing money. It boggles my mind. It boggles my mind. All right. Anyways, I want to watch this. Ali Webb. I was watching this because this is very insightful, I think.
In salons, a big part of my 20s. I knew hair really well.
Ali Webb wanted to open her own salon called Dry Bar, one that would focus on a specific service, the blowout. No haircuts, no hair dye, just the perfect blow dry and styling. Her business-savvy brother realized she was onto something, and he made her an offer.
He said to me, I'll put up all the money. I'll own 50% and you'll own 50%. Yours will be sweat equity. And I was like, what's sweat equity? Like, I didn't know what that meant. And when he explained it to me, I was like, wow. So we felt like this was a really beautiful, like, chocolate peanut butter moment of like him being able to handle the things that I didn't know how to do.
Within just a few years of opening the first Dry Bar in Los Angeles, the business grew to include dozens of locations across the country. Ali also launched a successful hair care product line. She transformed her side hustle into a business of impressive scale. I'm Jeff Berman, your host. Ali Webb's story of scaling Dry Bar from scratch is packed with important lessons for anyone starting a business. We'll hear about how she took Dry Bar to unexpected heights, why she decided to sell, and what she's cooking up next. First, I wanted to hear how it all started. Allie, welcome to Masters of Scale.
Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. For our audience who may not yet be familiar with it,
Sure.
Where did the dry bar idea come from?
I had Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours in spades by the time, I decided to start what was a mobile blowout business, which eventually led to Dry Bar. My initial pitch.
Danny, you think Allie Webb wants to partner with us?
Was on a mommy group on Yahoo that was like, hey, I'm a stay-at-home mom, longtime hairstylist. I'm thinking about starting a mobile blowout business where I come over and blow out your hair while your baby is sleeping, because that was my network was moms at the time. That's all I knew in LA because I just moved to LA, and sure enough, I got tons of clients and I was pretty good at doing blowouts, and so the word of mouth grew very quickly, and that's kind of when the light bulb went off for me of maybe instead of me going to them, they come to me. And that's when I went to my brother, Michael Landau, who's been my best friend my whole life. And he also happens to be bald. And he was like, what? What do you want to do? I'm like, well, I'm having so much success charging $40 in this mobile business, and I can't keep up with the demand. So I feel like maybe I should start a brick and mortar instead of, me going to them. And, again, he was a little perplexed, why can't women blow out their own hair? And his wife at the time had naturally straight hair, and I was like, you did grow up with me, right? You remember men, but he was really, he kind of saw the success that my mobile business was having and was willing to kind of help me get this off the ground financially, and he has such a brilliant business mind.
So this is Allie Webb, who she recently sold her salons for $255 million. And a lot of it was because of the products. So she spoke to CEO of Revlon, or the founder of Revlon, and he pretty much told her he wouldn't be able to sell her salons because nobody wants to buy 5,000 employees. And just from having 90 barbers, bro, I see why. But this one's a lot more transparency. She actually breaks things down, and so I think it's very insightful. And yeah.
And so we were like, let's give it a shot. And my then husband Cameron was the creative. He was a advertising creative guy, and he was going to help us create the brand. And it was three of us joining forces.
What is the blowout experience?
So a blowout is basically at Dry Bar anyways. It's, you come in, you have a consultation. In Dry Bar, you pick from a menu of hairstyles, and then your stylist washes your hair and then basically blows out your hair into the style that you want. And that's all it is. So no cuts, no color, just blowouts. And, you walk out the door with amazing confidence, which is the other probably important thing to mention, is that, while we were initially, just selling blowouts, we very quickly learned that we weren't just selling blowouts. We were selling the happiness and confidence that women get from having great hair.
The color scheme, the music. I mean, when you walk into a Dry Bar, it's uplifting even before.
Yeah. That was the thing. It was for me, it was how do I create this thing that I really want? Mm-hmm. I was creating Dry Bar from the positioning of a stylist, because I was a stylist, and also the consumer, and what did I want on both sides of that.
And were you at all concerned that this wasn't a full service salon? This didn't exist before, right? Come in, quote unquote, just for a blowout.
I wasn't concerned, but everybody else was. That was the common question, was how do you make this business, this concept work? The name of the game was volume. Ironically, there's so many puns in this world of mine, but and at the time I thought if we could do 30 to 40 blowouts a day, that would get us to a good point, not even really making that much money. That was more like breaking even, but it would work, and I didn't have big lofty dreams at that point. I was just I wanted to open one shop for myself, something for me to go and do that I loved. And, and I loved the environment of the salons that I'd worked in. And so I was really excited about it, and not thinking I was going to turn it into this massive multi-million-dollar empire, blowout empire. what I thought was going to be 30 to 40 blowouts a day turned out to be like between 60 and 80 blowouts a day, which we were completely unprepared for, by the way. Like we didn't have enough stylists. Like it was a total disaster in the beginning, even though it was so popular. It was like we were completely unprepared for what was coming.
So how do you go from one store in Brentwood to literally within a few years, you're at like 40 locations around the country? Like what happened that you were able to accelerate so quickly?
Well, we realized very quickly, like within the first few days, like we had captured lightning in a bottle. It was like, holy shit. Like women were coming in quite literally droves. I mean, we were turning people away left and right, which sucked. The first couple of stores were really clunky, like getting those open and figuring out how to get, people into those stores. And then we eventually like started hiring people who were smarter than us, who had like knew how to do this. We eventually took, angel investment from some friends and family and customers. And then we realized that we needed to really, if we were going to really expand this, because I think we got to like 10 or 11 stores, like bootstrapping it ourselves. And then we raised about 26 million was our first big tranche from Castanea with the intention of, opening a lot more stores and starting a product line. And that was about, I don't know, 2-ish years in.
Ali, I imagine when you opened your first brick and mortar dry bar location, people came in and saying, great, I need a cut, color, the whole shebang. And you're like, no, we just do the blowout. So what was that customer education experience like?
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely a subset of women who knew what a blowout was, were getting blowouts and figuring it out, which me included. But then there was, that was a big thing early on, like educating people and women on like what this was. And a lot of women were like, what's a blowout? I mean, a lot of people were like, what's a blowout? And, I would always explain, like, when you go and get your hair cut and colored or colored and they blow out your hair after and your hair kind of never looks better than when it looks, and they're like, yeah, I love how my hair looks after I get a haircut. Like, yeah, because somebody professionally blew it out. So we're taking with Dry Bar that one piece of, of the puzzle of going to a salon, the whole experience, and we're just taking the blowout. We're blow drying your hair, washing the hair. That was also a big thing. People would ask, like, do you wash the hair too? I'm like, yeah, we wash it so it's clean and you can make it last for as long as humanly possible, which women loved. But yeah, I mean, it was an interesting time because even as we were opening more and more locations, there were a lot of questions, from women about like, what's blowout? It's like, if it wasn't a thing that if you didn't know, you didn't know, but we really had to educate a lot, especially investors. But that's a whole other story. Like men in suits were like, what? So many like sexual jokes and whatever. I'm like, yeah. But women knew, some women knew, but then there was like this whole subset of women that we really had to educate on like what the actual blowout was. And so that was interesting. And now blowouts are like such a common thing. And, there's so many other places that are doing them. And we made this an affordable luxury, for women everywhere.
And joke on the investors who were making those jokes.
Yes.
There are two different threads I'd love to pull on. One is, this is a point at which a lot of companies would say, we're going franchise, right? This is the fastest way for us to scale. So talk about what was that conversation?
Yeah. Well, it was a lot of back and forth. I mean, Michael wanted to franchise like right away. And I was very anti-franchise because of, this was my baby. Like it felt like a third child to me, and I was like, I don't want to put this in other people's hands, and that was really how I felt about it. But Michael was like, oh, we just got to open more stores. And he was right. We did need to open more stores. And we as like we had so much competition. We had tons of people who were starting to knock us off. So we felt very strongly that we needed to open more. The thing about franchising, it's a double-edged sword because you are, it's a great way to expand quickly, but it's also like, these are entrepreneurs themselves and they want to do things.
Do I think they pay hourly? Probably not. They'd have a revolving door of stylists, but I mean, we can see. Let's check. Yeah, they pay hourly. Looks like they pay hourly, guys. So $20 an hour, pretty much. Salon manager gets $24.51. Receptionist gets $14.59. But a lot of these people don't require a license, so that's why they could do that. Shop managers get 51,000. Assistant managers, that doesn't make any sense. This is from Indeed.com, so it's got to be pretty accurate, right? Um, plus tips. All right. What does average employee at Dry Bar make? Salary.com says the average annual salary at Dry Bar is $83K. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Lower range is $73K. Upper range is $95K. But this could be off too. This obviously this isn't. I'm not gonna say that's the most accurate data ever, right? Like that's just quick, lazy research. I wouldn't go by that.
things the way they want to do them. And I was, one of the most profound things, I think it was my brother who said it, was like, there's a lot of ways to do things right, but there's one way that we do things, and I want all the franchisees to do that. And you only have so much control over them. I wouldn't recommend it the way we did it, because what we did was like, we were basically now running two different organizations. One was like franchise and one was company owned. And so the needs of those two stores were quite different. And managing
They probably have apps. They probably have an app for their franchise, right?
franchisees and those owners, our partners, was very
I'm assuming the hairstylists, the blow dryers probably make 50, 60, 70K a year.
just time consuming.
It sounds time consuming. It also sounds like maybe the optimal approach, because you're able to keep control of the ones that you're operating. You're able to evolve the brand and the experience, but you're also able to scale more quickly.
We had to hire a lot more people. We were, this is a completely different operation, which is interesting now. Fast forward to, years later, we started a new concept called Squeeze, which is our massage concept, which is on fire, and we've sold over 100 locations, and it will start popping up all over the country. But we decided to do that completely franchise, because we got the opportunity to see what it's like to run a franchise organization and what it's like to run a company owned organization.
That's interesting. I don't know if Danny, if you're still on, but that's interesting. If she could do the salon business all over again, she would have just done franchising.
Organization. And at the end of the day, it's it's harder to run a company owned operation, because you have, of the 150, there's 180 actually now, but when we sold it was 150, and probably 70 or so were company owned and the rest were franchise. But you have a manager, you have 70 managers and assistant managers and regional managers and stylists, and it was so much staff. We had 5,000 employees, and it was crazy. It was so much to manage that. Excuse me. The systems and the people you have to put in place to manage that kind of overhead of people is a lot. And it is easier, we found, when there was a franchisee, because you have an owner operator that's managing their own stores, and they have a lot of skin in the game, so it's an arguably easier way to do it, which is why we did it that way with Squeeze.
And so, but looking back on the Dry Bar experience, if you had it to do over again, going back in time, but knowing what you know now, would you have gone full franchise from the beginning, or do you think it was essential to be in control?
Yeah, probably so, Wally. But I have a brand, so
to really develop that experience in the brand?
I hate that question.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I would. I don't think I would do it. I don't think I would have done it differently.
I have all this stuff. I have the systems. I have pretty much everything that we need to start a franchise. I have. but I don't want to be in regulated by FCC and all these things. But at the same time, I'm listening to her, and I haven't really peeled that back enough. I don't think so.
But that said, we used the learning and applied it to Squeeze.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I wouldn't do it differently, because I'm glad that we had the learning, and I liked that we owned the stores, because, you know, but it was still really challenging. But I don't, yeah, I don't think I would change it, even though I wouldn't recommend it. I know that's like a weird answer.
No, it's not. I mean, we learn from our mistakes,
Yeah,
right?
it's like
What? Run that back.
to Squeeze.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I wouldn't do it differently, because I'm glad that we had the learning, and I liked that we owned the stores, because, you know, but it was still really challenging. But I don't, yeah, I don't think I would change it, even though I wouldn't recommend it. I know that's like a weird answer.
No, it's not. I mean, we learn from our mistakes,
Yeah,
right?
it's like,
And
yeah, had we not gone through that, I never would have learned all of that.
Yeah. So before we get to Squeeze, the other thread to pull on is the expansion to products.
Yes.
So was that part of the original vision? Did that come in later? Where did that originate, and how? Because that's a whole other business you got to
Yeah,
figure
and
out.
really, I mean, you know, I don't know if you know this, but like, we sold the product division for $255 million. We didn't sell the whole enchilada.
I don't think she's making it seem easy. So I just think maybe you don't know the context. She uh she she started her company Dry Bar in 2009, and she busted her ass. She started out mobile, doing house calls, blow drying hair, doing house calls, and then she opened her first brick and mortar store. Her husband and her put 50K in. Her brother put in 250K. They did 50-50, since she would be putting in sweat equity. And, it took 14 years for her to get to build the enterprise that she built. So she's just saying that it's a lot easier. The franchise model would have been a lot easier than the route she chose.
Which is an important distinction, because the product was like a little bit of an afterthought for everybody else, not for me. I knew very early on I wanted to do product, because what I was finding, because I was in the store every day and I was touching hair and I was doing blowouts myself and whatever, that the assortment we had, which was a bunch of my favorite product lines, weren't all working well together. And so I felt like we really needed a product line that really, supported a perfect blowout, like what we were doing, making the blowout last as long as humanly possible. So every product was developed through the lens of like, crafted for the perfect blowout. That's really what it was for. So, when we raised the money with Castanea, they, I think we earmarked like $1 million, which is like more or less what you need to start a product of that scale and size.
Right. And so you're not just slapping a Dry Bar label on some existing product. You're actually doing product development, right?
Because I mean, listen, the way, it's not really, anybody who works in this industry knows that like there's a couple labs that really make all the stuff. So you don't have a ton of room for creativity, but what you do have is like, you use benchmarks, and it's like, oh, I love this product by X company, but I don't like the way it smells. It's a little too strong. It's a little too heavy. So you can go in and tweak and say, I want to, or you're coming at it and saying to a lab, I want a product that does this, and this, and they will put something together for you. And then you tweak it to get it to where you want it. So for me, it was like, I knew products couldn't be too heavy, because women always wanted their blowout to last as long as possible. I obviously knew creating a really great dry shampoo was paramount to what we were doing. The very first product we ever came out with was a shower cap that was like a larger than normal shower cap, and it was like terry cloth lined, and nobody else was doing that. And so everything I developed was again thinking about the customer and what she wanted after she had a blowout. But it was like everybody was much more focused on the stores and the growth of the stores, which was right. It was like we were growing at leaps and bounds, and there was so much excitement about the stores, and everybody wanted a Dry Bar. But the product was really personally important to me, and the team supported me on that. But nobody knew the longevity and the legs that it would have, which it did.
And it's also more marketing. I mean, you've got like a virtuous cycle of marketing.
Yeah,
then.
I mean, so we had the stores obviously, but then we also went to Sephora and said, hey, we want to do this, and really it was like we want to give the products that we're using in Dry Bar, including the blow dryers and the curling irons and all this stuff. If you don't have a Dry Bar near you, here's what our stylists are using, so you can get this great look at home. I launched my first book, which was like a total hair tutorial to how to do it. I went on QVC and selling the products, and it was really fun and great. It was such a great like natural extension. And mind you, our investors and even clients, everybody was like, oh, you could sell so many other things here. You could sell makeup, you could offer lashes, you could do all this stuff. I'm like, no. I felt very strongly of like, we do this one thing and we're the best at it, and we're not gonna like create this environment where women come in and they feel like they're being like sold to about buying this or buying that. Like, I just wanted to do the one thing we were doing and the one thing we were trying to do really well.
One night at a business dinner, Allie got some frank advice about the inevitable future of her budding empire. Her business was part salons, part product line. An exec from a major player in her industry told her this.
And he was like, you're never going to be able to sell this whole thing to one person. And I was like, he's like L'Oreal or Estee Lauder. They're not inheriting 5,000 employees. And I was like, oh man, you're right. And I remember him planting that seed. This was so far before we sold it. And I remember thinking that might be right, and really, so when we were thinking about selling or going public or whatever the next step was going to be, at that point we had raised almost 75 million, from another private equity firm, because, a Unilever, L'Oreal, like Helen of Troy, who did end up buying us, like those guys are product. Those are huge product companies. They don't want a service company. It's a very different buyer that wants a service business. And so, all the like smart investment bankers that were around us were like, we're going to have to break these two companies off. That's what we ultimately did. So in 2019, we really started to like do a formal process, realizing we were going to be selling this to two different people, and had, tons of interest, as you would imagine. And, ultimately, it's a long story, but ultimately sold it to Helen of Troy. And the plan was we were going to then sell off the market. So if you wanted to buy the LA market, you could buy 25 stores and whatever multiple, and that would be that. And then COVID hits and the stores go to zero. Basically kind of gave them away because they weren't making any money. We were still having to pay rent. It was just like everybody else in 2010. It was a total show, the stores. But luckily we sold the product division like truly like what felt like moments. It was actually weeks before the whole world shut down and everything collapsed. But
she got lucky.
Yeah, we got that sale done under the wire, thank God.
In 2023, Allie published a memoir called The Messy Truth. It's an intensely honest look at all the things that were falling apart in her life behind the scenes while her business was publicly booming. One of the extraordinarily compelling parts of following your journey over these last several years is how open you've been about your own challenges, journey, the things, the curveballs that have come your way and how you've handled them.
Many of them.
Yeah. And I mean, I can deeply relate. Thank you for being open about it. And why be open about it?
Going back to my first divorce from my co-founder, which, I myself wasn't super public persona at that point, but for the sake of the business and our employees, I remember like the first we posted like Instagram, where you get all your information, that we were divorcing, but that it was really more for our employees. Cause like I said, we had thousands at that point, and we kind of felt like we needed to make a statement, but it's not like we're making a statement in like more.
There's so much in your story, and there's so much in The Messy Truth, the book.
I don't give a damn
one
about
of my key aha moments in COVID was work-life balance is bullshit. And you talk about
It's the
balance is bullshit, right?
second chapter of my book.
And for me, it's about leading an integrated life. I want to do work that's meaningful. I want to work with people who I like and respect and care about,
Totally.
and move seamlessly in my day among the various parts of my life.
Yeah.
So, having gone through this experience, how are you restructuring how you spend time and how you approach your day based on what you've learned?
Yeah. And we sold the business in 2020, and it's, we're in the middle of 2024, and I just finally, I would say in the last like 6 months, got my footing back into like, what am I doing now? What do I want my life to look like? And yeah, now, I'm really intentional, also very integrated. Like and I think just probably because of COVID, because so many of our daily lives have changed. Like
This is the thing that I tell people all the time, man. Like, I don't know what people are so set on this whole work-life balance thing. And I think a lot of the people who reach success that people dream of realize is that doesn't really exist. What does exist is an integrated lifestyle where you're doing shit because you like doing it, because you want to do it. It's not like you retire and just sit on a beach all day. That gets old real soon. You're gonna want to do stuff that you like doing anyways. And so that's what she does, an integrated lifestyle. I mean, makes total sense.
I work from home. I have an office at my house. I'm out and about a lot, but I'm working on a new secret project that I'll tell you about
We're
later.
maybe going to have you back on
Yeah.
to talk about that.
Which
Yeah.
I'm absolutely giddy over and just feel
But I'll be honest with you, I feel like she's going back into a trap of new projects and new projects. Like, I'd probably just be writing books at that point, or just consulting, or just doing a podcast or something. Like, I'm not doing startups and stuff. So,
this like
or just investing money. I'd probably be investing my money, pouring it into entrepreneurs who want to grow something, right?
renewed sense of purpose that I'm excited about. But I will tell you that I am pretty intentional with my time and how I spend it and what I take on in this new endeavor, where I'm doing it with my brother again, no ex-husbands involved this time. But what I will spend my time on, what I won't, what my brother takes on, what I take on, and like, when I will take meetings and things. I'm much better about saying no now to things that like just suck my energy that I don't enjoy doing. I feel like
Yeah, I'd probably start an AAU basketball team and pour into the community that way.
I've kind of earned that to some degree, but I even feel weird saying that because I think we should all give ourselves
Nah, I don't like startups. I don't know how anyone can be addicted to a startup. I really don't understand that. I think startups are like, girl, you got $200 million. Yeah, no. I'll do what Elon did, but I ain't doing what she did, what she wants with these startups. Look, one location and build it up from there. Nah, not doing it.
the permission to have autonomy over what we do in a day, to like
Yeah, she
what
killed it.
feels great. And if that means you're only working till 3:00 because you want to pick up your
And
kids
she's a
from
hard
school,
worker.
do that. Like, set up your life in a way. And even whether you're an entrepreneur or you're not an entrepreneur, like even the people who work for me and with me, like I'm very like, go do your thing. If you want to do yoga in the middle of the afternoon, I don't care. Let's just get all our shit done during the day, whether you do it at 5 in the morning or 6 at night, like whatever works for
We're
you,
the same way, yeah.
and
We're the same way.
my like right-hand girl who does so much for me, like I really respect her. She's given me like boundaries of like how much when I like, she really wants her weekends to be uninterrupted. And I remember when she first told me that, I was like, does that mean I can't text you on the weekends? And we figured out a system, and we use an app. It's called Monday, that like we keep our our stuff on. So if I think of things on the weekend, I just put them in there because I'm like, but I think of something, I got to tell you.
Right.
But it was really important for her and it was less about wanting to help me, more about her needing the mental break, which I really understood and I really respected that. And she kind of goes offline at like 5 o'clock, is available to me if I need her. But I really respected that she laid down a boundary for me. And then I want people around me working really hard, but I just want everybody to feel integrated and to feel like they can do what they need to do with their lives. And we don't have to like be sitting at a desk from 9 to 5 to make things work,
Yeah.
you know?
Given this journey that you've been on, given what you've learned from Dry Bar, given the personal experience the last several years, why Squeeze?
Well, Squeeze really came out of my brother's brain, you know, because he was not participating in Dry Bar because he has no hair. And we were longtime like massage goers our whole life. Our parents were. And so we just kind of inherited that behavior. But similar to Dry Bar, you know, which when we started Dry Bar, there was two bad choices in the market. There was like, you know, the discount chains where you could get a blowout, but the experience was bad and it was variable pricing and all the bad things. And it's similar with Squeeze, you know, and we found that we were frustrated, especially my brother, with the choices that were available for massage, which was like the discount chains, which are like leave a lot to be desired, and then the high-end spas, you know, where massages are, you know, upwards of $300 for a massage at a spa, like a, you know, or a hotel spa or whatever. And so we felt like there wasn't this like affordable, you know, but great experience place to get a massage, and we really wanted to build it and felt like we could, you know, and that we kind of cut our teeth on Dry Bar and that we could do this with Squeeze. And you know, the beauty of Squeeze is that one of the many things is that it's even though it's a brick and mortar and you go in for a massage, it's an app based like system. So you book on the app, you tip on the app, you put in all your preferences on the app. You know, when you go to book your appointment, you see all the reviews that people have written about their therapist, so you can pick and choose based on that. And so that took us, you know, about a year to develop our own proprietary, you know, app, which is, you know, a game changer. Nobody else has that in the industry. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to invent an iPhone to be a successful entrepreneur. What you do have to do is take something that you love, that potentially exists, that just isn't done well. And that's really what we did with Dry Bar. It's what we're doing with Squeeze, you know, and that I think is the hallmark of a really successful, you know, endeavor as an entrepreneur. And that's really what we did with Squeeze, is like just create something that was better than anything that was out there. And I think that's why we've sold so many franchises, because we are different than any other massage concept out there, and frankly better.
So if we're sitting here 2 or 3 years from now, what's your hope for what Squeeze is?
I mean, I'd like to see Squeeze, you know, expand to like at least 500 locations across the country. And I think that's a real doable, achievable goal for sure.
Before we wrapped up our conversation, I invited Allie to answer a few lightning round questions to better understand the way she works. Other than the messy truth, what is the book that you most recommend other entrepreneurs read?
I'm an Audible girl, so I like listen to books because I love to walk and listen to books. But there's so many good ones I have, and I've read so many books, and I love reading, but or listening, I guess I should say. But you know, I think one of the best books I've read is Untethered Soul.
Yeah.
And I've read it so many times, and I keep going back to it because it's just, and no matter where you are, who you are in your life, like I think every single human would benefit from that. The beautiful story. Michael Singer is just amazing. And I'd say that's my number one.
What's a habit of yours that...
All right. So I don't know. It wasn't as insightful as I thought it was going to be. I am going to set up, let me see, Tampa franchise consulting. So go ahead and fill this out. I'll call them. Let me call them. They're probably closed since it's the weekend. All right, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. All right, so that number is no longer available. That's funny. All right. Yeah, not in service. All right, let me continue here. That's what I wanted to do. That's not it. Yeah, kids are watching. All right, guys. So let's look at this. Not that. So proof of concept. What is the OpEx of your shop? What do you guys? What would you guys for my shop owners that are in here? What are you spending monthly operating a barbershop? Um, let's say it's 1,000 square feet. What are we looking at? So let's just make this simple. 1,000 square feet. $39 a square foot per year. $8 for triple net. Monthly rent sales tax 7%. It looks like about 4,100 a month. Does that sound about right in your area? So I think I would do. So let's say it's let's just say for easy math, it's let's just say it's to be conservative. Uh, yeah, 4,500 in rent for most locations. Okay. What other and that's just rent. What other expenses do you have? What can we assume here? Um, so in this sheet, for example, let's go over to month 12. All right. Rent is 37.72. Electricity is 400. Wi-Fi is 150. Insurance is 40. Cleaning every month $400. Advertising fee. This is going to be 1,000. I want this to be 1,000 because I want to be able to spend. Um, I want to be able to spend this every month on each location. Yeah, I want to be able to spend that every month, especially in the beginning here as well. So here we have 400. We're gonna put 1,000 because this is gonna speed up the ramping of the business. But we're taking on more expense now, right? Uh, that's not. Where do you live, Zilla? Not in Tampa. Like, let's look at LoopNet real quick. Especially if you want to be in a good area. I'm not talking about shitty ass plazas, guys. I'm talking about the reason why barbers can come in their first month make $10,000 and then want to leave to go to a studio is um, because of our locations. So like a lot of barbershops will look at plazas like this and be like, "Ooh, that looks good," and pay 2,000 a month for rent. Have no parking, be in a shitty area, have no foot traffic, right? That's what most barbers will do. We will look for nicer plazas like. Let's see if I can find something. Let's find a decent plaza. All right, so something like this. No, that's on Waters. You don't want to be on. You don't want to be in this area. Get what you pay for. Okay, Southdale Mabry. So Southdale Mabry is South Tampa. Your household income here is probably going to be 120,000 a year. All right. There's decent parking here. You put a barbershop in here. 1,000 square feet at $35 a square foot. Is there a barbershop in here already? Doesn't look like it. I don't love the businesses that are in there, but there is a Papa John's, which gets a lot of foot traffic. And then I'd have to see where on the map it is. Yeah, it's near the base, but it's near Bayshore as well. It's not a bad location actually. I'd have to drive over there and walk it and all that good stuff. A lot of times the demographics and stuff is here, but anytime you're near Publix, Starbucks, you're leveraging their demographic studies. They're gonna do a lot better research than you are. Um, so, anyways, you're at 35 bucks a square foot a year. Triple net's gonna be $8, $7, $10, $9, whatever. It's gonna be in that range. Let's say 8 for safety. Yeah, the price is about right. And if you look at even nicer plazas, which a lot of times we're in even nicer plazas, look at this one. This one's $45 a square foot in Citrus Park, another area where you're going to be at six-figure household incomes. $45 a square foot. It's not cheap. So, anyways, here we are. Um, so rent, all this stuff, Wi-Fi, phone, miscellaneous, insurance. No, that's miscellaneous insurance. And by the way, I believe we add an extra 10% on top for miscellaneous stuff. All right. And if you're in the mentorship, you get a copy of this sheet to run your own numbers and do. This is what we teach our guys before they go open their own shops. And then they don't use it, but they want to open a shop with us, but they don't use it. So we're not doing any loans. Miscellaneous TA. Additional. All right, so this is calculated through there. And so our operation expenses is $6,700. Let's put 7 grand just to make it simple. Just to make it easy math. So if I wanted to run a business, a barbershop business, where I can pour $1,000 a month into marketing and advertising, you're looking at an OPEX of $7,000. Okay. Now, how does a barbershop make its revenues? What? Zilla, I don't be, we're opening businesses. We're not becoming slaves to our job. We're opening businesses, bro. No offense to you, but I don't want to be a slave behind the chair, bro. You're literally going to spend $20,000 to make yourself a slave behind your chair. Have no walk-in traffic. Have sure, you're saving a bunch of money, but you'll never make $200,000 like Jordan did this year. You know what I mean? Like, you got to guys, you got to pay to play. You got to invest. You have to start somewhere. Not there. Go start at a barbershop. Go work at a shop where you don't have to shell out $20,000 to start your business, where you can get walk in traffic, where you can build clientele, where you can get experience, not just experience with building a clientele, but an experience talking to people, working with people, leading people, what it takes to operate a barbershop that has employees. That ain't the way you start, bro. If you start, especially when there's so much information that you can learn from, like, start at a better place. All right, anyways, yeah, I no, okay. Zill, I don't know how much you know about what we do, but nah, that's never, I'm never doing that. All right, OPEX is $7,000. Okay. So how does this barbershop make money? Right? Are we gonna do booth rent? All right, so let's go back to that sheet. And let's say chair rent is 250. Well, right now, chair rent is 300. So let's say we can get 300 by month 3. And let's see if this is something that's worth doing. All right. And then let's say year 2, we go up to 325. We raise everybody's haircut prices and we go up to 325. All right. And then year 3, we go to 340. We raise everybody's haircut prices. All right. I know you guys are thinking 340 for rent. We're filling these chairs. All of these barbers make 6 figures, and every time we raise our rents, we raise haircut prices as well across the board. So if that's too much for you, this ain't a place for you to work. I can't fix stupid. Okay, so let's assume that's the numbers. We probably need to add a commission structure here as well. And I don't know how to do the numbers on that shit. So, all right. So let's say that's the numbers, and we're at 10 barbers. And let's go all the way across here. All right. So let's see what that looks like. So that would mean by the end of year 1, we are at. Why did it drop year 2? Oh, because rents went down, or rents went up. I'm not sure why that's going on. All right. So let's say we are at gross revenue of 13, 15. I gotta see why these numbers are off here. What changes? Oh, 5 weeks. There's 5 Saturdays in some of these months. Okay, makes sense. Let's say on average we're doing $13,000 revenue. 13,000 in revenues. Okay, revenue is 13,000. Okay, so you subtract 7K from 13,000, and we are at $6,000. We're at $6,000 in net profit every month. In net profit every month, which is $72,000 in annual net profits. Okay. Our responsibility, yes, $300 a week. Our responsibility here is what? Running ads is marketing. That's our responsibility. Our responsibility here is to make sure the shop is full. Nothing else. Everybody in here is an independent contractor. You cannot franchise this model. You can't do SBA loans with this model. This is going to be a grassroots business model, and it's always going to be a cash business model, and that's okay for some. Um, Now, what if the revenues was a commission model? This is booth rent. All right, this is booth rent. Now let's do commission revenues. Okay. With commission revenues, we can do more for the business. And here's what I've learned too. Barbers are great at talking. And they also have an inflated um perspective on what they bring to the table. And what ends up happening a lot of times is they don't realize all the underlying support that was done to create this opportunity. I mean, this doesn't happen on accident. We're running ads, we're doing a lot of work behind the scenes. But they think once, let's say they're with us for a year and they hit six figures, they don't realize that's a exception to the rule. It's not normal. It's become normal with our business model, but it's not normal. And then they think, then that inflated result, whatever, they go do their own thing, which is fine. Um, but at that point, why not just run the commission model and do even more for the guys who do appreciate this business model, right? And so, what does it look like if you're doing commission revenues? All right. And so, the way we do commission revenues, let me see. This is what we're doing now. Um, show you guys what we're doing now. Penny, shut the hell up. Shut up. All right. So let's take a look at what we do and career pathway. And we have a sliding scale, except it has not been updated. So let me yell at the guys real quick. See why there isn't a... I'm opening a barbershop in New Jersey. It's my first one. I don't know nothing about the business. So why are you opening it? Do you think you're going to be able to serve your barbers that way? Your team that way? That's tough, man. All right. I think the way we're doing it now is 30%, 20%, and then I think it's nothing. Let me double check those numbers are right. Oh, yeah, yeah. All right. Um, yeah. So I think the way we're doing it is first 1K is 30%. Second is 25%. Everything after is no cap. All right. So this is what we decided on, I believe. So let me just double back here. Why is this like this? Something's off here. Cotton size in the bar school didn't prepare me at all for the business. Yeah, it doesn't. It does not. Get careful. Don't say it too loud though. Barber school owners get so mad about that. Don't ever tell anybody that barber school doesn't isn't perfect. Why the hell? some reason the bomb in our Notion doesn't have the two. Oh, that's because that was the white label. All right, we're good. All right, so the way we're doing it is let me just verify it's correct. All right, so we have recently changed it because the numbers just weren't working. Um, all right, and so this is what it looks like. Um, so the way we're doing it now is for your first 1,000 in sales and haircuts, you're gonna pay a 30% commission to the shop. The next 1,000, so after 1,000, the next 1,000 you make, you pay 25% commission to the shop, which means um, which means, and then after you make everything you make over $2,000 a week, you keep 100% of it. You pay no commission. So the most you'll ever pay in commission is $550. If you make $4,000 a month, I mean a week, good. If you make $3,000 a week, good. You don't pay any commission above $2,000. All right, that helps the barbershop be able to launch, start all of his marketing efforts, and get you to six figures as soon as possible. And so, let me look up this other sheet that I had to do these numbers. Hmm. That ain't it. $550, Alec. Hey, what's up, man? $550. It's a hard pill to swallow, but I'm starting to see. Man, it's crazy. Sorry, Nisi. I bring it up at hair shows. Nobody's interested though. Those classes don't. Nobody sits down on. Hello. No, I'm talking about how we've been tracking the headlines data, numbers, not projections. I already have those. The other thing I was asking about is can we update? I think I did it myself. I don't remember what the exact numbers we were talking about, but I tried updating the headlines bomb, um, the career pathway, the commission structure because it's the old one. I think. Can you verify? It doesn't. It doesn't look like it. Maybe you did on the white label version, but I don't know about on the headlines version. But yeah, check. All right, let me know. All right, bro. All right. Um, oh. Where is that damn sheet? Is this it? No, that's not it either. That's not it. Jeez. Let's do 50. Let's do four. Let's do $40 per cut. Let's do 25%, 75%. All right. Assuming that all barbers, with that structure, let's assume all my barbers are paying $550. That would mean all the barbers are pretty much making, let me see. Let's say they're making 2,000 weekly. That's 550, 1450. They'd be making 72,000 a year on average, if they hit the bare minimum, which is the 2,000 in revenues. 2,000 in revenues. Nah, they'd be making more because with tips, I'd assume 20% of their income would be tips. So if they do 72,000 times another 20% is 14,000. That's pretty much six figures. So at the bare minimum, they'd be doing 100K or 96K. So let's say, what is that? 96,000 divided by 12 is $8,000 a month. But we're going to do 96K plus the 550 week. They get 1 week vacation minus 20,000. They'd be making $70,000 a year if they do the bare minimum. And that's 72K divided by $40. 1800 divided by 250 days, let's say. They'd be doing 7 haircuts a day. So 7 haircuts a day would get a barber 70,000 a year in this business model. And then after that, it's really easy because they pay 0 commission. So 10 haircuts a day would get them to 6 figures, is what I'm assuming. Let's see. So an extra 3 times 250 is 7. An extra 3 is $120 times 250, let's say. That's an extra 30K. Yeah, that's literally 6 figures. So in this business model, okay, in this business model, if I'm doing the math correctly, which I think I am, if a barber does 10 haircuts a day, they will be at 100K take home. Okay, at 100K take home, but the barbershop, 10 barbers, do this really easy. 10 barbers at 550 at 51 weeks is 280K. Divide that by 12. Yeah, you're talking about way bigger revenues. But the barbershop revenues, so the barber doing 10 haircuts, shop revenues is now equal to $23,000. Okay. Minus your expenses are still going to be let's say your expenses are up another $1,000 because we do extra stuff for the shop, for the barbers. We're doing, complimentary drinks, all that stuff. So 23,000 minus 8,000 is $15,000. Okay. In any case, remember, all of these numbers have a 10% buffer. So we can be off by 10% margins on and off, right? So this number, if it's a little bit off, just to be conservative, let's take 10% off. And let's do even more than that. Let's say that's $13,000 in net profit. Okay? Per month. So that 13,000 times 12 is 156K. So being conservative, you're more than doubling your numbers with this business model. And the barber is still able to hit 6 figures doing 10 haircuts a day. That's a strong business model. Not everyone can do this because how many barbershop owners can fill 10 chairs and get enough traffic in there where every barber in there can do 10 haircuts a day? It's very rare. We've done it 10 times, so we know we can do it. And this business model can scale. This business model can be franchised. This business model can get SBA loans. This business model can actually grow. So it's still a 6-figure opportunity. And yeah, it works. While now, this isn't true though, right? Because if you look at a career pathway, one of the things we don't want to do is we don't want to lose our superstars. So if I head over to our career pathway here, okay, and I scroll down, you guys will see you can go to booth rent. There is a pathway to booth rent, and that is either you're a founding father or you've hit vet status within the company. Vet status could be after 3 years. Now you're at booth rent. Founding father is pretty much if we open a new location and you're willing to take the risk and move over there. The first 3 or 4 barbers will be booth rental. All right. And so we have to put that into play here. So the reality of this is that I have to assume conservatively, at least at any given time after a couple years, at least half of the barbers at the shops will eventually be booth rent. Booth rent might not be 550. It might go down to, let's say, 350. But 350 divided by 550 is a almost a 40% cut in revenues, which is a lot. And so if half of the revenues gets cut by 40%, let's do the math here on this. All right. So 156,000 divided by 2 is 78,000. And then we're going to take 40% away from that. That is $47,000. So now the real number is if we're doing the career pathway is 78,000 plus 40, let's say 45,000 for easy math. The real number is $123,000 in revenues. That's more realistic. Okay. In net profit, I should say, per year. This is still a business model that works because it cost me about $100,000 to open this location. And if it's successful, it's 123K net a year. And this we can get funding for. We can print, and we don't have to depend on the barbers. Don't have to do anything. They just show up and make money. Uh, 12, 7, 250 divided by 35 weeks. No, 250 divided by 12 is 20 days. No, it's about 5 days a week. Jacking for business. That's about 5 days a week. All right. So, anyways, this business model works. But in this case, barbers wouldn't have to do anything. They would just come in, and their books would get filled because we'd be doing all the advertising and marketing for them. Obviously, once they hit that 2K mark, once they're maxed out at that 2K mark, it's going to be in their best interest to market themselves because everything above that is commission free. And we might not be able to do veteran status at 3 years. It might need to be 5 years, you know. Who knows what it'll be? But that's looking a lot better, I think. And we're testing it with our newest location in Channelside. So, am I using Tele? No, I'm using Ecamm. I use mostly Ecamm. Tele's a lot easier though. Okay, so with that being said, now that we have these numbers, okay, one proof of concept. Let's say this number is off. Let's say on average we don't hit this number, and on average we hit this number. But with this business model, it's still a great deal. But the reason why we would want to hit this number doing this business model is because this business model is not bankable. And it's scalable, but it scales slowly. Scales slow. This one scales fast. Okay. But let's say we can get 80K out of this business model. Okay. So proof of concept. This is supposed to be a barbershop. Okay. Proof of concept is conservatively, let's say 80K net. Okay. We think it's 123, but let's say it's 80K. But this scales fast because we can get SBA loans now. And I don't have to train barbers to do it. We just handle all the admin, handle all the we have an office that handles all the marketing, all the advertising, all of that, right? Eleven locations would be what net? It's 880K. 12 times 80. You're gonna need 13 locations with this number. You're gonna need 13 locations to surpass 1 million net. While all your barbers are making six figures and doing well and all that, right? You'll still have barbers that will leave to a suite, and that's okay because branding and marketing and all that will fill those chairs. Huh. Um, we'll get to that in just a bit. You're not gonna need managers per se. Barbers are their own managers, or they say they are, which is fine. We want them to be their own managers, right? But they still need a manager, even though they say they're their own bosses. They still want somebody they can call to complain to about the barber next to them. They still want to be able to call and complain about something not about I don't know their app or whatever it may be. If they get sick, they still want somebody to call to not pay rent for. You know, when you're your own boss, that typically doesn't. It's not what happens, right? But barbers want to do that. Do they do that at suites? I don't know. Um, so let's say you're doing $1 million net. Can you pay somebody 6 figures to manage all this? Yeah, you can pay somebody 150,000. You can pay an MBA 150,000 to manage these locations pretty easily. And so now this 1 million turns into a 850K net real quick. And then you got to pay taxes. Let's assume 40% of this goes to taxes. So you're left with $510,000 net annually after opening 13 locations. If you make this passive and you're not managing it. That sucks. But that's still a good business because where can you put in, let's say it's $100,000 each location. Where can you put in 1.3 million and collect $510,000 a year profit for the rest of your life? It's not happening anywhere else. You're going to need 30 locations, I think, to comfortably clear $1 million net a year after taxes. That's a lot. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of locations. Or, so think about it. Or you can do 5 locations at booth rent. Make your 70,000 a year net each location. That's 350K minus taxes. Your taxable income will be lower. Let's say it's more like 30%. So let's say you're really going to take home after taxes $250,000. All right. So the question is, would you rather make $250,000 a year net from 5 locations, and just put a manager in each of them, or would you rather own 13 locations to make $510,000 net? You got to have an MBA who's managing all the locations. You got way more employees to worry about. You're paying way more taxes. Which one would you rather be in? So make $500,000 net doing 13 locations, but much more to manage. Or would you rather make $250K a year net with much less to manage? What do y'all think? What's y'all's opinion on that? Everybody said 5 locations. That's funny. Now, here's another question. Here's another question. All right, here's another question. What if you can do this business model? What if you can do this business model as a franchisee, make $400,000 net, make $400K net, and do the same amount of work required to do this because you're a franchisee and you have a support system. So what if you can get the best of both of these worlds and make a number that's in between these, 400,000 net, because you're a franchisee? That's what makes this business model sexy to people who are trying to scale, I think. So you have 3 options here. A, scale big on your own. This is option 1. Option 2 is stay small, less work, less profit. Option 3, scale big, less profit, less work, not less profit, but scale big, more profit, or let's say, how can I word this? I don't know. Scale efficiently, let's say. No, because that sounds biased. Let's just say scale as franchisee. What would most people choose? I would probably choose this myself if it was available, because I'm leveraging a whole corporate team that would take me ages if I was trying to do it on my own and no life. Let's see. Yeah, so a lot of people are thinking 3. And I honestly, I never looked at the benefits. This is all just off the top of my head. This is not like, I've never really mapped this out like this to this extent. So the franchising is making a lot of sense. It's just, now you got to build it. And then you got regulation. And then the question is, so this is for a franchisee. Number 3 is worth it, obviously. Number 3 is worth it, obviously. Okay. But now you're the franchisor. Is it worth it for the franchisor? Why not just do it yourself and keep most of the profits? You're the one with the systems. You're the one with the brand. You're the one with the funnel of barbers that are going to fill the chairs. Why not just keep doing it yourself? And you already have the team. You already have the MBAs. You already have the CFO. You already have the proof of concepts. Why not do it yourself? Let's check ChatGPT what they say. Because then, once you have a franchisee, you gotta make sure they're happy. You gotta make sure the government's happy with regulation and stuff. Instead of just staying corporate. Now I'll probably watch some videos on it as well. Accelerated expansion, okay. Less capital investment. This is why, yeah. Yep, I don't even need to look anymore. So we know the benefit for a franchisee is there. Okay. For the franchisor, this is what we got. Accelerated expansion, which might or might not be a big deal to people, right? Reduce financial risk. I think the biggest one for me is I'm spread thin. I'm putting capital in a million different things. You looking at barbers as franchisee or outside investors? Both. Honestly, I'm no longer so loyal. I used to be super loyal to building from within and giving people platforms and getting them a fast roadmap to success, becoming influencers, building channels, traveling and educating, opening their own shops, all that stuff. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Like people only remember what you've done for them lately. And then their egos get inflated and there's no loyalty these days, no matter how loyal you are to somebody. So I'm done with that shit. If you see the vision, if you're willing to put skin in the game and risk, I don't give a damn if you're a doctor. You can invest because I've been trying to build from within for 14 years. It hasn't worked out. I mean, it works, but it also doesn't work. And I'm just why put yourself in that box if nobody's asking you to, right? Anyways, so this is a big one. Reduce financial risk. So instead of assuming all the costs and risk of opening new locations, you can get other people who will put skin in the game to help expand. So I do like that because, like when you're the capital for every single location, it's cool. And it's like, you grew up being told by a bunch of people who've never done anything in their life to not be a partner, to not give up equity, to own it 100%. That's the mindset my father had. And you got one life. Tomorrow's not guaranteed, but a company can continue to grow whether you're here or not, and it can last generations. What's the point of expanding and keeping everything to yourself? You can't keep it when you die, right? So, no, I want to build something that people can benefit from, that are willing to put skin in the game. So, anyways, this is a big one. Reduced financial risk, financial risk. Still financial risk though, but it's not all on you. Local expertise. Yeah, that's another one. Leveraging local expertise. You don't have to go in and learn a whole new market. I definitely have an advantage with shops knowing the Tampa area than an outside investor would. Reduce managerial complexities. Yep, I like that. Increase brand presence, passive revenue, focus on core business functions. This is a big one. Let us focus on the core business functions, the marketing, the innovation, the branding, improving the systems, um, doing the ads and stuff. Like, let us focus on that. You guys focus, the franchisees focus on delivering a great product and service. Potential downsides to consider. Control. You lose control. I'm totally fine with that. If you've joined my program, you know I am totally fine with losing control. Brand risk. I don't think that's that big of a deal, to be honest. I think we attract the right people. Franchising requires detailed legal frameworks. Yeah, that's the part. But I'm willing to spend the money on consulting if it makes sense. Okay, so I like the franchiser thing. I just got to go a little bit deeper into it and see what happens. Okay. So I think the main thing for me though right now is this proof of concept. We've proven it works with this model. And we're starting to work on this model. It's already in place, but we're starting to work on it. So once that's set, then I can really look at this more seriously. All right, now let me look at the chat. Oh yeah, I got quiet. There's not really anybody on here. But yeah, I gotta look into the franchising thing. Let's see what ChatGPT knows about the cost of organizing a franchise. I don't think it's a couple hundred. I think, yeah, it might be 100K is what I'm thinking. But let's see. All right. Legal compliance costs. Franchise, this is the FTD, required by law in many countries, including the US, to disclose details about the franchise. Costs to draft an FTD typically range from 10 to 50,000. Okay. So let's say that's 30K. I think for a simple franchise like this, it's a barbershop, it'll be less. It should be less than the middle ground, but you never know. So let's say that's 30K. Trademark registration, we already have that. Legal fees, these include lawyers setting up the franchise. Let's say that's 20K. I have a lawyer friend that might hook it up. Operations and system development. Operations manual, creating a detailed franchise operations manual. Most of that work is already done, so I'm going to go 10K for that because it's going to be mostly refining. SOPs, most of this work is already done, so I'm going to go 10K on that just to have the professionals refine it. And then we're going to add a 10% buffer on top. So marketing and branding plan. Developing a strategy to attract franchise can cost. I'm going to assume the same thing. They're just going to clean up my plan that I already have. Franchise website development. Hell no, I ain't paying that much. I'm going to pay $5K to clean up what we already have. No, it's not going to cost. We already have website developers. It's not going to cost more than $5,000. It's going to cost $3K. Initial marketing campaign, launching marketing campaigns. It's definitely not going to cost anywhere near this. But let's put a $10,000 budget for that, just to be conservative. It looks like Donnie might be right. Training and support developing. We already have the CRM and the software. I'm going to put 10K for those as well because we already have most of that. Accounting and financial setup. This is free for us. We have an accounting firm. I don't need to put that in. Franchise sales and recruitment. Franchise broker fees. Am I going to need a franchise broker? Probably not. In the beginning, we won't need it. Franchise expos and events. We won't need that either. This isn't something that I'm establishing to then go sell. This is something we're launching. So that's not an expense I'm going to need. Initial setup costs. We already have all this. We've already paid for this because we already do our stuff. Same thing with this. We already have that. Yeah, I think you're right. I think K as the number. That's what I'm going to go with. So 150K I think is conservative for us because we have a lot of this already built out. So we'll see how that goes. So $150,000 to establish this franchise before you've even made $1. Before you've even made $1 as a franchisee, as a franchisor. Hey, man. Thanks, Jesse. Appreciate it. That's love, man. Maybe. Okay, so this is where we are currently with 6 locations. With 6 locations, we net about 60%. We can open a location every 2 months by not franchising, by not helping anybody, by just focusing on me, not worried about people's feelings, and having some better mental health. A lot of people would choose just be happy with this, right? I can take some of that and do this instead. Not that. Do this instead. And then start letting people franchise. Powered by Tune 45. Interesting. Guys, if you are in the mentorship and you've not checked out this video, I highly recommend it. So myself and Danny, we were at our newest location here, and we broke down a lot. Okay, we're here with our contractor.
We're here at what's going to be our newest location, the Channel Side location. We're here with a contractor as well. He's at Tribeca Contracting.
I knew the name. Obviously, I just wanted him to talk and be involved. But Tim is a great dude. He's going to help us scale shops. So pretty much this man right here, you guys can see he is licensed to build skyscrapers. Like the dude knows what the hell he's doing. He's from New York City, and he's going to come in and hopefully be our main GC that's going to help us continue to print these shops out, duplicate them. So he already, you guys can see he's looking at our blueprints. He's making changes. He's saving us costs. He saved us already $25,000 in this build out. We had an architect come in, draw it out, make it all look beautiful. That those drawings he's supposed to grab and actually make them real life. But he looked at the architect's drawings and he looked at the actual location and he said, "Bro, you don't need this. You don't need this. You don't need this. Just saved you $25,000. They pay for themselves if they're good general contractors. They pay for themselves if they're good general contractors. But this guy, he thinks he can print out a shop every month. If we have a shop location to build out, he can do one every month. And I put his information too in the mentorship for you guys. If you're in Florida and you need a good GC that understands barbershops, there's one right there for you. And he's very fair. So anyways, this video is 45 minutes long, and we break down a lot.
You guys need
right? You're selling the haircut, you do a consultation. No, you don't really want that haircut. That wouldn't look good.
To some extent, do due diligence. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So
And we've already started looking for our second downtown location.
Yeah.
Right?
Growth for sure.
Worth more. Our time is worth more if we spent it emergency-wise. So keys first, and then start the build-up.
yeah. So now we can also be proactive on the home marketing.
And then paying the landlord what they lost, right?
Yeah.
So we paid them over 2 years. The mechanical.
So many gems in this video.
electric-
So if you haven't checked that out, guys, it's pinned at the top. Go check it out if you're in the mentorship. Hey, man. Shout out to you, Rico. Hey, good job. I don't know what happened there. Alrighty. All right, now one of the things I want to look at now is barber form. Let's see how everybody's doing, numbers wise. See how this leaderboard is. All right, let's see. Leaderboards. I told y'all he was going to jump. I told y'all Anthony Mariano was gonna jump. He's at $4,700. This does not include Saturday. Oh damn, Christian. He's at $4,000 so far. That doesn't include today. Tonight we'll get an update on all these numbers, but the top 5 has already changed. Damn, Taylor, you're not in the top 5 no more. Maybe they just got to update their numbers, but remember the top 5 here are going to be interviewed on my podcast. So my new podcast, 6FB. So that's going to be fun. So Anthony has done 86 appointments, haircuts, and has made $4,700. This is interesting too. Christian has done 115 haircuts in 7 days and has made $4,000. 36 of those are new clients. So Christian's getting a lot of new clients and a lot of walk-ins. Damn, Jordan, 55 new clients. The data looks off though. 34 new clients for David. Good job. That's for the week. That's amazing. Jordan's got Walk-in City going right now. So does Christian. 36 new clients in 7 days is impressive. 34 in 7 days is impressive. 36 in 7 days is impressive. 23 in 7 days is impressive. 30 is impressive. Shit, 19 in 7 days is impressive. 17, 20, 40 new clients in 7 days. Guys are crushing it, man. Completely crushing it. So this is for the day. I'm assuming this is yesterday. $710. So anyways, this is really, really fun to see. Let's see who's paying the most money from clients. So you got some clients that are paying some decent chunks of change here. Oh, we came up with about 150,000, Donnie. They say it can go up. It can be anywhere from $50,000 to $250,000. Hey, Crochet. How much longer you got in barber school? You already have a location you're gonna work at? All right, cool. All right, so now let's actually do some real work. Y'all ready to do some real work? All right, I got real work. Let me see. Monday. Oh shit. Let's go. Oh, Crochet, I know you're gonna kill it. Okay, yeah, Drew. Let me. All right, let me ask you guys a question. So this is something. This is something. There's only 12 people on here, so that works. Let me make sure. Actually, yeah, there's only 11 people on here. Nobody watches this shit. So now that I got you on, got only 12 people on here. One of the things I'm gonna keep it a buck. This is kind of the path that I've been thinking about doing because we have a lot of people in the mentorship right now that are in all different phases of their careers, right? And what I've noticed is a lot, especially the younger guys, they're gonna, especially people who they just don't have the right mindset. There's nothing I can do to get them to drink the water. They're going to be in and out. They're not going to see the value. They're going to be in and out. So, and that's fine. But there's 1,500 students in um, in 6FB, and it's working. It's working well for the most part. You know, the majority of our students are seeing results, are seeing value, they're seeing success. But there are a bunch that just don't. They're not going to put in the work. They're not going to put in the effort. It is what it is. But we have poured a lot of resources into it. We got guys following up with people, messaging you, privately messaging you, holding your hand, trying to get you guys to get results, right? Problem with that is, and one of the things that I asked Hermosi. Actually, let me show you guys this while we're here. This is what I asked Hormozy. I'm gonna let you guys watch it for yourselves.
With him as well. So reverse flip. I have more tech questions. So like API types.
My name's Ethan. I'm curious.
You see me right here? Here's me. Here's Dre, Young Drizzle. That's what we call him. Here, I'll zoom in some. There's us. All right, let me get to the part where I ask my question, I guess. This guy's cool. He's a cancer survivor, and he does influencer marketing.
Where it looked really good in the interview and on paper, and then it was not quite what I was expecting. So
Yeah, well, you figure out how to predict someone with every single human's behavior, you'll have cracked a bigger code than, yeah. Everyone just picks their wife and husband on the first shot. You know, it's like, I swear this person was different the first on our first date. Yeah, that's I think it's a human issue, but I can talk about some
It is
stuff.
a human issue.
Hi, Chris, Six Figure Barber Mentorship. So I think one of our biggest challenges right now is we're so broad in the barbering niche. Like we're bringing on barbers who are trying to get to six figures, and then we call it the fork. Once you hit six figures, they're trying to figure out how to make it a career and invest their money, all that stuff. Our biggest challenge right now is we got young guys who are feeling overwhelmed by the program. It's too much information. But then we got guys who are already at the fork and they're like, bro, we're listening to the same thing over and over again on these calls where we're trying to learn how to open more barbershops. So I guess my biggest thing is how should we split the program, and how should we go about structuring splitting that program?
Yeah. Also, side note, it's kind of interesting how education works with that. In that, like, if you think about like 4-year colleges,
Sorry, guys.
degrees, it's like you go through a thing and then you graduate, and so it seems sometimes conflating to have education and super long-term continuity. And so it's like, how do we weave in consumable components that have to be renewed on a regular basis? Whereas we're trying to get someone to learn a skill or a series of skills. And that's where, like, 201 math, 301 math, 401 math, I think the same thing kind of applies for some of these opportunities. But what becomes complicated is the operational drag of basically starting yet another business for each new kind of tier and being really thoughtful about which ones are worth it and which ones aren't. Yeah.
Dude, I got my hair cut yesterday by a guy who went through your program.
Oh yeah. It's crazy how many people. So he told me the same something similar. Like people have been telling me left and right their barbers are checking out the program, and appreciate everybody who's been referring the program to their barbers.
Yeah, I got a guy who cut my hair 4 years ago. Who was one of
Yeah,
your dudes.
Alec. Yeah.
Yeah, Alec Farborough. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
All right, cool. So my name is Dre, also with Six Figure Barbers. Leading off with that question is, when we separate, if we separate the programs, do we go a high ticket route, like offer it for more expensive, or just offer licensing to barbershop owners?
Yeah, very interesting question. I'm just gonna put it under the same, but like we'll hit it.
All right, so hopefully you guys kind of get the gist of what we were asking there. Barbers, it's hard to do phases like that because I think barbers just don't appreciate education as much as maybe other industries do. And so what I was thinking is we create a new group that's maxed out to 150 students, and that would be the mastermind. And this group would essentially be also the biggest candidates as barbers for a franchise model, either franchise or licensing. Model. Because what I realize is we're teaching everyone everything we know here. Oh, you guys can't even see my screen. We're teaching everyone that we know. We're teaching you guys everything we know here. And it's overwhelming for a lot of you guys, right? And so a lot of you guys have been asking for more tailored, more intimate, one-to-one type of environment, which is really, really difficult for us to do because we have real jobs. And it's hard for somebody like Jordan, who makes $20,000 cutting hair, to say, let's go jump on a one-on-one call to make what? $100 a month? You know what I mean? It's just not scalable. It's difficult to do. But there are people who need that one-to-one interaction, and their situation, they want more of a tailored thing. And I think that's what a mastermind is great for. So everyone would get a one-to-one onboarding and a much more intimate group sessions. So we might do the group sessions where they're max 10 people each, for example. But everyone gets a one-to-one onboarding. And then everything is more tailored to that person. But even then, somebody might be here who we help grow to 10 locations and like, man, this freaking sucks. I need more support. That's where the franchising and licensing model would benefit this student. So it's essentially a filtering system and a simpler stepstone system to get to a franchise model where we can get people in this scenario, right? Is what we're thinking. It's very similar to what Hormozy does. Like, we're going to his master class in at the end of January, and he invests in businesses. And this can be something like, for example, where it's either licensing, it's franchise, or partnership. And this is how we find the right people. So let's say, I don't know, Drew, who was in here chatting, we got him in the mastermind. We can see all the numbers, all that good stuff. And Drew's like, man, I need investors. Well, if we like the way Drew runs his business and we're familiar with it because he's using our system, we might say, okay, I got I don't know, I got $100K for you, bro. Let's partner on something. Or it might be the franchise model that works better or the licensing model that works better. I don't know. But I think this works. It's just in the barbering industry. This model happens all the time in every other industry. And this model usually looks something like, you guys saw what I was competing against, right? This is usually about $300 a month, probably. This is usually about $10,000 a year. I've paid $30,000 for the year before. For the tax, for if you're in a tax firm, this model's $30,000 a year. And in the franchising model, shit, $100K up front, and then you have your royalty free. You have your royalty fees and shit. All right. Okay. What do y'all think about that? Let me see. Oh, okay. I used to be in Apex. They had 3 tiers. First tier was building your machine, $2,500 lifetime. Second tier is $10K annual, more developed. Third tier is $50K, very high level earners. Ah, that's dope. Cool. Nah. That's the one-on-one stuff I wouldn't be doing for the most part. It'd be like we'd have our team doing it. Maybe Dre, maybe Jordan, maybe Alec. I'd be in on the 10 people group sessions. And I would be making sure I coach all of it, right? The franchise model, though, this is where Danny would probably enter the room. And I think with this model, too, you have 2 physical masterminds a year. 2 physical masterminds a year. We rent a mansion or some shit, pull up, or a nice venue at the Marriott or something. I don't know. Yeah. The difference between franchise and licensing? A lot. A lot of expectations, a lot of more regulation. Licensing would be a little bit different in that you can use the trademarks and things like that. I don't know any cities that 245 is not well known. So, I mean, we have an application of hundreds of barbers who would work at any of our locations right away. So, I don't know that I have to convince anybody that 245 is a well-known brand in their city because we have a list of barbers that want to work in that area. Our issue, most barbershops' issues are clients, right? Whether it's a haircut client or a barber to fill their chairs. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we don't have that issue ever. And I don't know if you guys saw this, like Donnie was saying, but even in school they knew who we were. Watch. That's the last challenge that I think I foresee having. Look at this.
Yeah. It's crazy how many people. Yeah.
Guy, my haircut yesterday by a guy who went through your program.
Oh yeah. It's crazy how many people. So he told me the same, something similar. Like people have been telling me left and right, their barbers are checking out the program, and appreciate everybody who's been.
There's 1,500 barbers in our program that would love to work at a shop that follows our program, and there's hundreds of thousands of barbers that know who we are. We know that because of our social media data. And there's only 1 million barbers probably in North America. So we have a huge percentage of that. I don't know why I would have to convince anybody of that, Snow, to be honest. And then with getting customers, clients, We have proof of concept. We have 10 shops that are walk-in city. We would run the advertising, the marketing. You know, part of the benefit of and part of branding too is a lot of people don't know a brand is a brand till they visit the location and they see, oh, this is a brand. You put accolades, you put awards, all that stuff, right? Nobody's going to sports clips because they're like, oh, it's sports clips. It's not like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Nike, right? But that brand power does work with landlords, with bankers, because a banker doesn't go, oh yeah, we'll loan it because we know your brand. They go, let me look up your brand. Oh, this is a brand. This is a well-known brand in that space. Yes, we'll invest in you. They'll find out you're a brand when it's time to find out that you're a brand. Hopefully that makes sense. So anyways, I think this tiered system is probably the route we're gonna go. And this will filter people out, you know. The way we currently have it right now is 6FB is 120 monthly, cancel anytime. I think Mastermind will be 5K annual. Okay. This is done with you. Oh no, this is done do yourself, DIY. Right? Is it what is it? DIY is it D do it yourself. This is DIY. You're taught everything, you get all the tools, but it's do it yourself. This is done with you. This is done for you. And this is the franchise model. I think the barber space is it's not like coffee where Starbucks just went straight here, right? Because Starbucks targets entrepreneurs that already know this stuff. We have to teach you guys what real entrepreneurship looks like. And then some of you guys need even more handholding because you don't have the entrepreneurial experience. You didn't go to school for an MBA. And then we're looking for anyone who has both of these things in place already. And that's where this is attractive. God, it's if I was in it, why am I doing this? Why don't I just focus on attorneys, law firms, and accounting firms? Oh my God. Call me crazy. What? And so this would have one-on-one onboarding, small intimate groups, everything would be set up for you. You know, the system setup, initial system setup, you got to maintain it though. Initial system setup. Initial system setup. And either one or two physical masterminds, physical meetups. Cancel anytime. And the franchise model or the licensing model would be, we're gonna try to fill your shop, fill your chair, set up marketing. You can use our trademarks, et cetera, et cetera. All right, that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Yeah, I got a guy who cut my hair 4 years ago. Who was one of your dudes.
Alec, yeah.
Listen to this
Yeah,
advice.
Alec Farborough? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
All right, cool. So my name is Dre, also with Six Figure Barters. Leading off with that question is, when we separate, if we separate the programs, do we go a high ticket route, like offer it for more expensive, or just offer licensing to barbershop owners?
Yeah, very interesting question. I'm just gonna put it under the same, but like we'll hit it. I have a huge amount of experience with this, so I can talk to it. Josh, what's up?
Right on. My name is Joshua. I'm two-time school games winner, youngest ever, age 16. I'm here to ask Colonzes. We're here to ask a
Breaker of chains, first of his name. Yeah.
I need to get my foot.
And honestly, I'm actually thinking about leaning towards the licensing model because why the hell not? What if look at it this way? All right, so what if you had 6FB at $120 a month? There's 1,500 students in there right now. Only 1,200 show up in school, but there's 1,500. Okay, you have Mastermind is $5K annual, and now I'm thinking, is this even necessary? And then you have licensing, which would be all of the above for $10K annual. But what this includes is the systems, the trademarks. We'll set up all your marketing. maintain ads, accounting, pie accounting included, pie accounting included, monthly reports. So essentially, you have a business partner without giving up equity that will do the work you wish your business partner would do for you, would do with you. Because the amount of people I know that get into partnerships that they don't do any of this stuff, and they're giving up a lot more than 10K a year, we'll do it for you, but we're only doing it for people who we know understand the value. Because I don't want to deal with mofos that don't appreciate shit. What do y'all think about that business model? I'm talking about to my high level people here. Babeless gang all day. Dave, locations, we're at 10. Did he say 16? 16, huh? That makes sense, especially orally booth renter who wants to open a shop but doesn't know the business. That's a good deal, yeah. He said ready. Okay. Is the licensing deal attractive? Because I think with this deal, I can also bring in Danny as a coach. And if you can get Danny as a coach, it's a wrap. And this group will definitely do meetings, meetups, and all that. Do vacations together. These meetups will be these meetups will be in Costa Rica, in Tulum or some shit, right? At a nice resort for these meetings. Was Josh trying to do this with schools? Yeah, we're doing licensing for DFS formula. We're doing this for barbershops. We're doing the same business model for barbershops and schools. So we're opening. Josh and I are opening a school in Tampa. The build out has already started, so it'll be open next year. Do we skip the mastermind and just go straight to licensing? Is the mastermind necessary? I guess is the question for me. Is this necessary? Because remember, this is do it yourself. This is done with you. This is done for you. And honestly, I might need to take pie accounting out of here. at that price point. But pie accounting would be at a heavy, we can do it at a heavily discounted. We can do pie at a discount. Pie discounted. Just to cover cost at the very least. So it might be pie for, 50% off. Let's say pie for $150 a month. Just because we want to be able to keep track of everything and have everything clean, but you get it for a discount. That's what I'm thinking. And so maybe annual is $12K a month, and that covers pie. I think that's the way we do it. So $12K a month, $12K a year, $12K annual, and that includes pie. Because we have real serious expenses there. So I think this is doable. So literally $12K annual. So going back to what we were talking about earlier, the pros and cons here. Remember how we were talking about this being the middle ground, right? Scale as a franchise, scale as a licensee instead of a franchise. Scale as a licensee instead of a franchise. And now you could possibly do this business model and just give up $12K a year per location, which would be, you have 13, 100 some thousand. It's the same shit. You're at $400K net pretty much. But instead of franchising, you're licensing, and you're getting a lot of the same benefits you would as a franchisee without upfront costs and all that, and regulations. All right, what are your thoughts? Let me see. Hey, I appreciate it. So no mastermind. So just $12K a year. I don't know. Here's the thing, though. Any of my locations franchise or license agreements? No, none of them. Just partnerships. That's funny. That's pretty funny. Damn, Penny, you good? Nah, I don't know. This is a problem because stop, Penny. Some of you guys have multiple locations. What about the guys who have, like, Drew has 5 locations? We're gonna run ads for each of those locations on an individual level. It's a tough one. It's actually tougher than I thought. Let me see. What's up, Mutan? How you doing, bro? Man, it's just. Yeah, I don't know this. I don't know this would work, to be honest. Now that I'm looking at it, I don't know if this would work. Cause look, cause look, um, licensing. You're going to need branding and trademarks. So you're going to get access to that, right? So whatever your shop's name is, you might want to put powered by Tune 45 because that's going to solidify not necessarily bring in customers that want haircuts, but barbers that want a chair. Yes, 100%, that'll help. But you're going to need someone. We're going to build out your website and everything. Build out website, GMB, social planner. No, that'll be you guys. Social planner will be you guys, but we'll help with your GMB. No, because that's going to be reviews AI. But we'll give you all the marketing materials. Marketing materials, I should put. Marketing materials. Plan to scale. Access to our developers for commission tracking. So to give you an idea of what I mean by that, behind the scenes, Kyle has been building out a really cool system for us. So if you look at my screen here, you guys can see I have my own software here where I can track commissions. And we can enter our barbers, we can remove them, and then we can track their commissions. And this will sync with whatever booking app that they use. And then we can use this to pull reports and then pay out and then get paid our commissions, charge our commissions. So, we got to build that out for each shop owner. That'll be part of the system. Add setup. Intimate weekly. How do we make this fair for one location, but also fair for 10 locations? That's kind of where I'm at right now. Because if you do 12K annual, do you do 3K annual, each extra location? Shit. Or do you do 2K? Or do you do 1K? I would have to see what my costs are associated with this. Do 1,200 each extra location. And then after three, discount it to 800. Because this is a problem we ran into with pie. I don't want to make that same mistake. Oh, freaking no, dude. I spent a lot of time on this. I think I'm done streaming for today. I'm tired. This is a recording? This is not a recording. This is a pain in the ass. All right. I got to think about that some more. Yeah, I'm out, guys. Y'all have a good one, man. Thanks for hanging out with me for a few hours.